Hey guys, it's Ginny Silver, and today I want to talk to you about how the EDD has been putting a temporary freeze on many legitimate claimants' Bank of America debit cards and accounts. Before I go any further, please click like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. It really helps boost my channel, and I truly appreciate it. Now, many of you have already seen my videos on this topic, and some of you may have not. You might be hearing this information for the first time, or perhaps you're online right now searching for answers. Well, about 3 days ago, I started receiving comments from my subscribers that their accounts, when they went to use their debit card, had been frozen and they were not able to use their card for paying or removing funds from their account. Other subscribers also notified me that they began to receive notifications from the EDD via text, email, or in the mail that their accounts were subject to a temporary hold due to a need for ID verification. Now, the EDD is currently working on unraveling this massive fraud issue that they have in the state of California with many, many fraudulent unemployment claims. Now, as they are doing this, they have taken their most senior staff members away from the phone lines, and they are over working in the fraud department to straighten things out. Now, as they are both straightening out fraud and also beginning to implement a new identity verification system that is much more streamlined, they are also going to those claimants who have not submitted copies of their documentation, and they are, in some cases, freezing their accounts, requesting that ID verification before they lift the temporary hold on your account. So you guys, there are a few things I want to talk about with you with this to make sure that you, number one, know what's going on and why. Number two, know what you can do before they freeze your account to make sure that you are in the best position possible. And number three, what to do if your account is frozen. You guys, first thing, I want to be very, very clear about this. This is a temporary freeze to your account. This does not in any way mean that the EDD is taking away your money, taking away your benefits. This is a temporary hold to your account while they verify your identity. Now, yes, these are necessary steps that should be in place for all claimants. However, it is very unfortunate that people are having their accounts subject to this with no warning. Now, on October 1st, the EDD issued a press release wherein they described this issue and what is going on with it. This press release came a couple days after they began implementing this, and many people were already very confused. So you guys, the EDD has stated that as they begin to unroll out this new ID verification process, they state that for those claimants who have never submitted copies of ID documents, we are taking additional verification steps with them now. These individuals are receiving an email, text, and notice in the mail about identity documents EDD needs them to provide. We encourage them to use the new document upload capability available through UI Online to help us expedite the verification of their ID so we can reestablish payments for legitimate claims quickly. So what this means is that for those of you that applied for your benefits, only had to type in your driver's license number or your state ID number, and that's it in terms of ID verification, for those claimants, you may be subject to this temporary hold on your account. Now, if you did submit documentation, if the EDD did ask for you to upload or mail in proof of identification by copying those documents and sending them in, your accounts will not be subject to this. But for those of you who did not submit this identification verification, your account may be subject to this. That doesn't mean that they're doing this to every single account. However, I would expect that they would as they begin to roll this out and implement it. So you guys, the first thing you need to know is, what if your account is still fine? Well, if your account is fine, I would take this step as a precaution. I would go to your EDD debit card and I would make sure that you, number one, set up a one-time transfer of all of your funds from your EDD debit card. If you hold funds in that debit card account, I would transfer them all out to a personal account. In addition to that, I would also set up a reoccurring transfer so that when the EDD deposits your payout, it is automatically transferred to your personal bank account. That way, no funds are sitting in your EDD account. They can't get tied up should the EDD freeze your account for an ID verification. Now, what many have reported is that they don't do this. They leave the funds in their EDD account Maybe you have $500 in there. Someone has told me they had $10,000 in there, but for whatever reason, they're leaving the funds in their EDD debit account. Now, if the EDD comes around and they select your account, they say, we don't have documentation on you. Let's put a hold on this account. Send them a notification that we need to verify their ID. You cannot access those funds. Now, the EDD will take a while to process your ID verification. So that means that your unemployment money is going to be tied up and stuck in that account until they're able to process your ID verification. So it's super important, you guys, to take this precaution. Hopefully your account isn't frozen because that's a big inconvenience, but if it is, at least you know that your balance is in your own personal account. So you guys, I would transfer that out and get that done so that it is not a concern. Next, what about for those of you who have had your accounts frozen? Well, many people are asking me, how do I know if my account is frozen? You would know if your account is frozen if, number one, the EDD sent you a notification. They sent you a text, email, or letter in the mail that you are subject to submit additional ID verification before your account is released back to normal. So that's one way. The other way is if you go to use your debit card and it doesn't work, you can't withdraw funds, you can't transfer funds, you can't pay a bill. That's why your card isn't working. So if your card isn't working or if you received this notification, what should you do next? Log into UI Online and see if you have a notification that prompts you to submit your ID verification through their online verification portal. If you have that there, great. Go ahead and click it, upload your documents, and send them over to the EDD. If your account is frozen and you don't see that there, I would call into customer service. I would use my how to call video and I would call after 6:30 p.m., which is the best time to call right now. And I would call in and I would let them know that your account has been frozen, you can't use your card, and you would like them to please send you the ID verification to your UI Online portal. So that's what you say when you call in. Ask if they could send you the ID verification to your UI Online. Now, many people have reported that they call in, their accounts are frozen, and the customer service rep is unable to help them and merely tells them to call back next week. Now, this might happen. The reason for this is because all of the senior, more experienced claims representatives are overworking in the fraud department right now. So the people answering the phones are very green, they're not experienced, and they might not know the answer to this problem. So if you get someone who is unable to help you, I would recommend hanging up, calling again, and seeing if the next time around you get someone who is able to send you that ID verification. Now, once you send that over and you send your documents, the next question is people want to know how long it takes for your account to become unfrozen and functioning once again. Unfortunately, I don't have that information. I have some feedback from subscribers who have told me the information that they have obtained from the customer service department. However, as with all of this, with these new customer service representatives, this is not a hard and fast guide of when it will be updated. But what people are reporting to me is that their answer is that it will take, is that to call back after October 5th if they need more help, and that it could take between several days to several weeks for the identification to be processed. So you guys, I don't have a timeline on exactly how long it will take to get the account processed and unfrozen. So next question is this going to delay your next payment? Well, if your account is frozen, even if you have submitted ID verification, until the EDD processes that ID verification and they lift the hold on your account, then you won't be receiving payments, or even if the EDD does send a payment to your EDD card, you won't be able to access it. So make sure that you submit that documentation as quickly as possible so that that hold can be lifted as soon as possible. All right, guys, I hope that was helpful. I know it's not that helpful because there's not really a good answer to this. You unfortunately have to wait for them to verify your identity. However, if you haven't submitted those documents and your account is still functioning, hopefully you take my advice, transfer that balance over to a personal account just so it's not frozen. I would love for you guys to comment down below and let me know, is your account functioning as normal? Has it been frozen? Did you listen to my advice in my last couple of videos and transfer your balance? Or is your balance stuck? So let me know the status of where you guys are at so that I get some feedback on how this is looking for you guys. Okay guys, thanks so much. Please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below. Floor that you can't see in my video. Painter's tape, an abundance of cords, Amazon bag, my business debit card, wallet, a fossil that I found with my son, bag, a lot of stuff back here, you guys.